Welcome to the Josh Wade Show. My name's Josh Wade. It's been a couple of weeks, but it's great to fucking see you. Thanks to The Siege for helping us out with the theme song. Thank you to all of our Patreon members that have stuck around. We're back, baby. We're doing this shit good. Today, I've got... Mate, I don't even fucking know your name. That's how we're rolling.
That's great. My name's Elliott.
Elliott, that's right. Okay, Elliott. Fuck, I'm a good interviewer, aren't I?
Great interviewer.
So, Zach, one of the guys that works here at the company, does a lot of the touring stuff. He said he met you during a job interview.
He did.
He said you had an interesting story. He sent me a link to you on the fucking radio talking about some militia type fucking thing. And I listened to about a minute of it. I clicked off it. And then about an hour ago, he said, are we still doing that podcast today? I said, fuck it, let's roll, baby.
Let's go.
I don't know anything. I want to know, but take me back. Where were you born, and you know what's the story?
I was born in Geelong in Victoria, nice and cold down the south. Yeah, that's it. Lived in Melbourne for a while.
Yep.
Then I travelled around the world. I did some pretty cool things, and now I live up here. Moved up here last year.
Right. Now, was something that while you were travelling around the world that you got into?
Nah, I had a PT business with my brother for about 4 years in Melbourne. I just felt I was very stagnant where I was. I was a bit over it. School wasn't really for me, so I left early, but I always knew that I wanted to do something more than just fucking the 9 to 5 bullshit. So my mate had told me about the French Foreign Legion when I was about 20.
That sounds like fucking the West's version of Al-Qaeda.
Pretty much, yeah. Everyone thought I was joining ISIS, even my grandma.
What is it?
So it's a foreign military. So there's 178 nationalities from around the world that go join there.
Right.
So basically, it used to be its own organisation until a few things happened back in the day in about the 60s. But what it is it's an offshoot of the French army. Their motto basically is we send in the Legion first. If they all die, who cares? It's a bunch of foreigners. If they succeed, we give the glory to the French government. That's their philosophy.
Right. So you heard that and went, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Fucking let's
I'll be
do it.
someone's bitch.
Yep. Let's go. So off I went.
And it still operates?
Yeah, it's been around for nearly 200 years.
Right.
Started in 1831.
Right, okay, so the French Legion.
French Foreign Legion.
French Foreign Legion, right.
Yeah.
Now, to join, like, what is the process? So you're overseas at the time, are you?
No, I just left. That was the first time I'd ever went overseas.
So you went overseas to do this?
Yeah, so I read a lot of books and watched a lot of docos on it. I knew that once I went over there that I wouldn't be able to talk to anyone. So I went over there with about €200, my passport, and just clothes on my back. And where I had to go was France. So obviously it's the French Foreign Legion. So I went to France, I went to Paris. I had to look around for a couple of days because I've never been overseas. And then I called my dad and I said, Dad, if you don't hear from me in a few months, I got in. If you hear from me in a couple of weeks, I didn't. And that was the last time I talked to him. And then, well, I ended up calling him about 5 months later to tell them that I'd got in. But how I got there, because I didn't have any phone or anything, was I knew where I had to go. I just didn't know how to get there. So at all the bus stops, there was maps. So I just went from bus stop to bus stop to bus stop to bus stop till I found out where I had to go.
Right. Okay.
And then the process is, it just gets more intense. It's physical, mental, psychological, medical.
We'll get into that, but I want to understand what the process is behind, because there's, like, I mean, what you just said really, realistically, psychologically is no different to someone going, I'm going to go and join ISIS, or I'm going to go join... No, I'm not kidding. Like, in the sense that I'm going to go and fight overseas for a bunch of shit I don't fully understand. Whether it's good or bad, that's a whole other fucking story. But the idea that you're going to go and join something, and inside of that, there's a cultish-like mentality that you're not going to be able to speak to your parents for 5 months, that's a really extreme... thing to go and do. So I want to know what's going on back home. Where's your headspace? What's going on for a young man like yourself that's obviously got a thirst for the world to go, I'm going to lock myself up in a fucking army overseas for a little bit. What's going on back here?
Well, as I said, I just felt very stagnant. I wanted a challenge. I was bored.
Yeah, people go fucking backpacking. Zach went backpacking.
That's not for me. Fuck Zach.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what happened?
So, yeah, I just left. I wanted something different. I was bored. I was very bored. As I said, school wasn't for me. I got into a lot of trouble. Yeah, that's it. My mate had told me about it. It wasn't like it was an overnight decision. It took about 2 years for me to say,
Right.
all right, fuck it, I'm going.
Right.
You know, so at the time I was a PT, I heard about it, and then I was about 110 kilos, I was a powerlifter, and it got to I was about 2 years, 2.5 years into PT, and then I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give myself 18 months. And I dropped 25 kilos in about 6 months.
Did you have to do that?
No, but
Okay,
I was
it's
just
just
fucking,
yeah,
I was
sick
110,
of
I
it.
couldn't run.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, yeah, so off I went.
So why the French Foreign Legion? Why not the Army Reserves here or something like that? Because that's probably another question people are wondering.
I wasn't allowed in the Australian Army. I'm not allowed. I've got a criminal record.
All right, here you go.
So
What'd you
there we
do?
go. No, I'm not saying.
Okay.
We'll
Right.
keep that one under the table.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, but you're allowed. So do they question when you go over there?
They question you, they do, but the thing is they don't have, we're not on Interpol,
Right.
so Australian database is different. They don't care what you've done. Well, they do. I shouldn't say that. It's more if you're a murderer, a rapist or something like that and they find out, then you're not allowed in.
Yeah.
But if you've done things like, well, whatever,
Petty crime, drugs, stuff like that.
Just
Yeah.
stupid shit, then they don't care. You can go over to the Legion, you can change your name and they can wipe you off the face of the earth so that you can change your name and become somebody different and you disappear.
They'll do that for you.
They'll do that. So if the government I had a guy who was a Marine and he left and he went to the Legion the same time I did. He changed his name and the American government were trying to look for him, track him down where he was because he was still on benefits from the American Army, or the Marines, sorry. And the Legion's like, no, we've got no idea who you're talking about. And they just hid him under the table. So you can disappear there.
Right. So I don't know if you know this is totally separate, but what are the benefits of a Marine? Like what benefits was he getting?
Well, he when he was in Iraq, I think he was in Iraq or Afghanistan. Anyway, I was walking next to a Humvee, and the Humvee got blown up, and it smashed straight into the side of him, and he broke his leg, and he wasn't allowed to do service anymore. So the benefits of whatever those veterans get, he was getting paid out. So yeah, he flew over to the Legion because he obviously still wanted to serve. And the government trying to track him down, and the Legion wouldn't give up.
So, so you've gone there. Now, tell me about the first day that you've rocked up at. I don't know if it's an office or what it is.
It's an army base. It's called Fort de Nogent.
Yeah.
You knock on the door and you go, "I want to be a Legionnaire." They take everything off you. They strip you down naked. You start doing push-ups, whatever, push-ups, chin-ups. Yeah, they take photos of you naked and shit like that.
You're not kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
Do they do this out of is it out of spite?
No, they take photos of all your scars and that kind of stuff first.
Right.
Just to obviously probably try and match it up with the database and that kind of stuff. Then they do just a minor physical test, like some push-ups, some sit-ups and chin-ups and that kind of stuff. I was pretty lucky. Normally you wait in a room for 24 hours. I only waited in a room for about an hour, and there was heaps of other people in there, and off you go. And that's the first week in Fort de Nogent, medical, that kind of stuff, psychological. But then you pass that stage, you go down to a little town called Aubin, which is half an hour from Marseille.
Tell me though, what is that like? So you've gone into that now. Are you getting into the back of because all I've seen is war films. Clearly, I haven't been to war. Or been in anything like. Are you getting in the back of a fucking?
Nah, not yet. You're not even in the Legion yet. Nah, you're still. You
just catch a bus down to the next place yourself.
They chuck you on a sergeant or an officer or whatever takes you down. We went on a bullet train because it's about 3 hours down. We were in Paris and then we went down to Marseille. It's 3 hours on a bullet train. And then we jumped in a bus, our own bus, and then they took us there. They strip you down naked again and take photos of you, everything.
What's the fucking go?
I love it. It's all head fuck. So they just play games with you.
But
it's all mind games.
Do you think that is a head fuck?
Well, not really. I don't care.
No, but are they doing that?
They do, yeah. It's 1 minute cold showers. There's no toilet paper. You barely get fed. You constantly cleaning. It's just a head fuck. It's to weed out the weakest link. So you just see people coming and going. So 10,000 people apply a year, rock up to the gates to do it. Only 1,000 get in.
Right. Okay.
Per year. So yeah, it's just a mind game. They're just trying to fuck with you.
So just everything just diminish you.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a mind game, or do you think it's because I've looked into this sort of stuff before? I've always been quite fascinated by military culture, especially in the US, Marines and stuff like that, and sort of the inner workings of that, and some of the really sus shit that goes on behind the scenes that sort of help people get up those really, really high rank. Like you look at someone that's extremely high ranking and you think, mate, that's the things that you have done or seen to get there, and the people that have come before you, it's
what are
insane.
You thinking?
Well, I think you know exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Why is that the case?
Well, I don't know. I guess there is a lot of such shit.
There's a lot of
shit that goes under the table too.
But it's ritualistic almost. It's
just
like a frat.
Yeah, it's like
hazing and shit like that.
It's just to break you down and they rebuild you again.
But see that's like, that's not just a head fuck. That is mind control. That's how
it's a method to the madness, isn't it?
Diminish someone's understandings of who they are to control them.
Here's the philosophy. Pussy training creates pussy soldiers. If you're going to give them everything, here's a hot shower, there's a fucking bath, whatever, you're going to be a fucking when you go out in the war. You're going to be scared, aren't you?
We're going to have to beep that one out. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yep.
So you can't have that. You can't have pussy training.
Yeah.
So it's a mind game. But the biggest thing in there, doesn't matter how physically strong you are, fit you are, it's a mind game. Mm-hmm. It's mental toughness.
Right. So like anything else, like a cult, like anything like that, you were in there for 18 months, did you say?
No, I was in there for over a year and then I came home.
Okay, all right. So we're going to get back into it. But in that time, did you have to find that there was an unwiring?
No, not really. The Legion, a lot of armies that have PTSD when they come back from war and that kind of stuff, Legion has almost zero cases, is because of their training. Their training is so physically and mentally demanding that there is none of that when people come out, because that's what their training is about, is to prepare you for that. So, when our training was, like, we used to sit there and watch not live, but they were live videos of people getting blown up and getting killed from other soldiers that saw that, were first hand on the scene and that kind of stuff. We used to watch those videos and we would watch them all the time. There was pictures all around the classroom of, like, kids being blown up, like half.
But see, what you're describing here is literally, I don't know if you ever looked into it, but the exact same techniques that, there's a thing called monarch mind control.
Yep.
The exact same techniques that they're using on people, whether it be in the entertainment industry or whether it be in the military, where it's a total desensitization.
Correct.
To break you down, to build multiple personalities out of you that they're able to then trigger when they need to. So
that's a good point. No, I haven't thought about that. Maybe it could be.
Well, fucking,
you might say a magic
victim,
word
cunt.
and then I'm gonna fuck you up.
Good luck to you, mate. I'm fucking ready to go.
Zachy, watch out, big boy.
What's going on, Zach? You a bit worried about the camera? Oh, okay. Hold on.
We stopped. Thanks for telling us earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't need to see me anyway. Just put
we do.
Just put a
That one's still going.
one of those blurry things on my face.
Keep an eye on that one. We'll keep this motherfucker rolling. So
I know that arsehole.
we're keeping this super, super raw. So Connor, if that was in there, fucking keep it in there. Connor's the dude that's going to edit this later. There's a fucking conveyor belt. So anyway, you've been brainwashed.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah. Now, in that time, so you've gone from... You've got the bullet train down to fucking Croissant.
Croissant, yeah.
Yep. Now what? What's the next training after?
So then the next 2 weeks is more thorough, medical, physical, psychological, all that kind of stuff. A bit of interrogation.
What does that entail? This?
Oh, yeah, pretty much, yeah. They just ask you a lot of questions, that kind of stuff.
Like what? Like,
what's a day in the life back home, that kind of stuff. Why are you here? The Legion, they want people that have nothing. So when you become a Legionnaire, you get your kepi. You've seen those white kepis?
yeah.
And you go Legio, Patria, Nostra, and then you put it on your head, right? And it means the Legion is my homeland, my fatherland. That's what it means. You're now part of the Legion and nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
The Legion is your family. And that's what it means. So they're looking for people that have absolutely nothing.
Right.
So that they can keep them there forever.
Right.
So that's all the interrogation is about, to see if you've got a family, they don't want you. If you got kids, whatever.
So that's
If you
their
got-
ideal thing.
Yeah, if you got other stuff going on, they don't want you. But the Legion is a place. If you got other things going on, you don't want to go to the Legion. There's
Yeah,
no
exactly.
way. You don't want to end up in the Legion if you've got a family or you got other stuff going on. You got other options.
Right. Okay. So how's your mental capacity during this time?
Well, I went in there with a mental. Well, yeah, I went in there with me saying to myself, a Frenchman would never break me. I did. I laughed. I laughed all the time. Even through training, when I was getting punished, I used to have a smile on my face, and they'd be like, "What the fuck do we do with Chenery?"
Yeah, you're fucking sick, mate.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah.
Punishments were the best. Getting punched and kicked, buried in the snow, running with Zodiacs on our back, fucking through the mountains. I love that shit.
Yeah.
That's great. Big smile on my face.
So why'd you leave?
Well, it got to a point where...
The Frenchman broke you, did he?
No, not at all, because I passed everything. I ended up in the
Yeah.
regiment. I was based in the French Alps. The Legion don't have that much money, and that's also what they're famous for, is you walk everywhere and you survive off nothing. So when we used to go for pack marches and stuff, you just take the clothes on your back, food and ammo, that's it. You'd sleep where you fell, whatever. So it got to a point after training that we really weren't doing a whole lot. There's not much going on in the world. It's a lot of peacekeeping stuff as well. So the Legion, they bid for contracts around the world. So they're all through, you'll never hear about it, but they're all through like Central African Republic. They
What are they peacekeeping?
Well, they bid for contracts from governments, so they just protect governments and just make sure that the peace is kept in those countries. They provide security for the Euro space station and that kind of stuff. So there wasn't a whole lot going on. And I'd read a book in there, and it's called Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Workweek, and I just thought, what the fuck am I doing in here when I could come home and I have so much more opportunity and value to give to people, So I came home.
Right. So were there any moments during that you're going, like, what's one of the moments in there that you went, fuck, all right, this one's pushing me to my limit? Just a bit. The one moment that really went, fuck, all right, this is something.
Well, there's probably a few of them, but it's how quickly you get back on the horse, isn't it? That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean,
what made you fall off the horse?
Oh,
It's all right to be vulnerable as well.
Just that their fucking food is arse.
Oh, it's
Eating
just
that
the
shit every fucking day. The training I didn't care about. I was fit enough. I was fine. No, nothing really got me down. It was just I was a long way away from anyone that I knew. I didn't have anyone over there. I couldn't contact anyone either because they're 8 hours. We're 8 hours behind. So whenever I was up, people were asleep and that kind of stuff. So I never really got to talk to anyone. I come from a PT background, so I'm used to eating a lot of meat. They used to tell me I was too big. Oh, you're too big, Chenery. You got to stop eating so much food.
Right.
Eat more carbs, less protein.
Right. So what about, communication-wise? Was there a language barrier?
At the start there was. Yeah, I didn't know any French over there, but you learn that quick.
Really?
Yeah,
Could you speak fluent French?
Not fluent French. It's not real French over there because it's 178 nationalities. There's Russians, Ukrainians, Madagascans, that kind of stuff over there. So it's a whole Polish.
Right.
That's a whole mixed bag of things.
Right.
So, I mean, I can swear in Russian or I can tell people to get fucked in French.
Yeah, okay.
That's all you need to know. Shoot, go over there, eat.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Here's a beer.
Did you start to get fascinated? I don't know if you either were before or during or after, or if you even are, but were you fascinated at any point with what is going on in the world?
No,
what wars have been fought and where I could potentially end up?
Not at all, because I didn't have a time to think about it the whole time I was there. So basic training ended up being 5 months long, including all the training before that. There's no phones, you're not allowed to watch TV, you're not allowed to read newspapers, you're not allowed to write to your family, you're not allowed to call your family. So I didn't know what was going on in the world. If the whole world broke out into World War III, I wouldn't even know. We didn't have a chance.
I think you probably would.
Possibly. But we didn't have a chance to think about it. But then
Yeah.
once I came through and ended up in the regiment, and there was a lot of stuff with ISIS and stuff. ISIS were hacking into our websites and putting up their flag. They were threatening to kill all French soldiers. A French soldier got killed an hour away from our base, so we were on red alert. And where we were down the Marseille way is a 70% Muslim population. So there's a lot of Muslims around there. And that's where all the trouble was brewing anyway. A lot of fights and that kind of stuff down there.
Why do you think that? Also, just quickly, like, how are they hacking websites? They're supposed to
Who
be
the
fucking
fuck-
cavemen.
That's right. Who the fuck knows?
Well, they're not. We know that they're not.
But they were putting up their flag on
Yeah,
our websites.
bullshit, mate.
On the government
it's all
websites.
bullshit. I
Of
think
course
so.
it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't believe it too.
Yeah. Okay. So now you just mentioned there that so there's some fucking there's a cunt going past with a fucking bin or a trolley or some fucking shit.
Saki taking a dump.
No, it's ISIS. They're here. Don't talk.
It's an
You're
AK
talking
base.
about there's a neighbourhood down the road that's 70% Muslim. You said there's conflict brewing down there. There's going to be some people out there that might hear that and think that's fucking, because we live in a world now that's very everything's touchy feely. Why?
PC,
Yeah. So can you justify that sentence that you just made, and how so?
What do you mean?
Or is there conflict brewing, and if so, why is there? Do you think?
I don't know why. I don't understand why there was. It's just that France opened the gates to Muslims and they all sort of congregated in that one area. That was the time that they were having a lot of trouble. You remember the Just Sweet Charlie, the cartoonist?
Yes.
I was there when he got murdered, so we were patrolling the streets, and so it was that time. It was that crazy period. I didn't really understand what was going on. I was just told to do my job, and so I did.
Yeah.
You don't ask questions.
What does that entail then? So you get presented with, okay, there's been a extremist group of people that are of this religion. They've pulled off this attack. You have to do what?
We went out and patrolled the streets, keep the peace.
What are you looking for?
We're not looking for anything.
Nothing at all.
No, not really.
So how do you know when there's an issue that arises then?
Well, the issue will arise in front of us, won't it? Somebody will raise the issue.
Right.
We basically, it went from the Legion not being allowed to be deployed in France to after that happened, the Legion being allowed to be deployed in France. So the security went through the roof then, and there was soldiers everywhere, every major spot, Eiffel Tower, all train stations, that kind of stuff, major landmarks. That we just put the security through the roof, just to make sure that the general public felt safe. But that's all really. We were just there to keep the peace. We were there to keep the peace.
How are they how do they monitor this sort of stuff?
That's above my pay grade. No idea.
Yeah. So your job is just stand around do you have a gun?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So you're just a machine gun?
I had a rifle. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So you're walking around with a gun, and that's it. There's probably someone else listening to all the phone calls and everything else, and
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
we're on 12-hour shifts rotation, so we'd come off and someone else would go on. And
what did you do after that 12 hour? Like 12 hours is a long day. You able to go for a beer? You able to?
No way, no clocking off.
No, so you just straight back to the base.
No, we were in like little spots that we set up in, abandoned little rooms or whatever.
Throw a few beds in there.
No, not even. No, just sleep on the floor, sleep on your bag. That's it.
Fuck me dead. How's this fucking thing allowed to run?
I've slept in prickle bushes. I've slept in the mud. I've slept in igloos. You name it. I've slept in these places. It's the best. I've slept in like a birdhouse full of fucking bird shit. You just find cover wherever you are.
Right. Okay. So did you're obviously fucking
retarded.
Yeah, you're a little bit loose, mate. 10 cents short of $1.
Yeah, of course.
Were you always like that as a kid?
Yeah.
Is that just who you are? Is just someone that's just happy to go into the worst situations and just
make the
fucking
best of
eat it up?
Yeah, I love that shit.
Okay. So, what's the moment that how do you leave?
There's a loophole after a year that you can get out. You just tell them that you're going. Otherwise, you're staying there for 5 years.
Right. So after a year, you're able to go, all right, I want to leave now.
Yeah, I've had enough.
So they give you and how long's that grace period?
So that's part of the contract, which they don't tell you because it's all in French.
So how did you find it out?
I just talked to a few French people.
Right, and they said you can leave. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah.
little dealing, wheeling and dealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're allowed to go.
Right.
That's it.
So was it 12 months on the day?
Yep.
12 months on the day you went. And on that day, you went, okay, I'm going to leave now.
Yeah.
And they went, yep, all good.
Yep, you can go. I
Yeah.
left.
Okay, so what's that like? You've just spent 12 years. 12 years.
Fuck
Fucking
that.
would have spelt
I've
like 12 years,
I've
I
never
bet.
been 12 years.
You've spent 12 months in this fucking thing. Yeah, they've said, I'm going. They go, okay, then what? What do you grab your bags? Where do you go?
Yeah,
you
grab
got
my
nothing.
bags. Well, you go back. We went back because I was in the regiment. I had all my stuff anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I just packed up my stuff and I left.
And they give you back. What,
Well,
you
you go
have a laptop
back.
or
You
a
go
phone?
back to like the main spot, which
Yep.
is called Orban, which is where everyone ends up before and after
Mhm.
their contracts. And then I went home. I booked a ticket. Actually, I went to Spain for a little bit for two days.
What'd you do in Spain for 2 days?
Just got down and dirty.
Had a good time in Spain?
Yeah, of course. Spain's great.
Did you book yourself a nice hotel or anything?
Yeah, I did. I don't think it was nice.
Do you get paid?
Yeah, shit house.
Shit pay?
Terrible.
Right. But you had
Terrible.
enough there to have a good time in Spain and
Yeah,
get
because
back
you
home?
can't. You don't really spend it.
Yeah, okay.
So I was you get €1,200 a month,
Mm-hmm.
which is shit house.
Yeah, that's
It's
pretty
about
shit.
$400 a week.
Yeah.
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 So imagine doing that for 5 years.
Yeah. Not a good time. Like I said, you wouldn't
No
see
way.
me fucking do it.
And it's not like you do 8 hours and that's it.
Yep.
There wasn't one moment when I was over there where I could just go and relax
Mm-hmm.
for the whole time I was there.
Yep.
Yeah. So once I left, I knew what I was capable of. I've been pushed to my limits. I knew what I was capable of. It was time for something different.
Right. Okay. So you come back home. Sitting back home. Did you come straight to the Gold Coast?
Nah, Melbourne.
Okay. So you've gone back to Melbourne. You're sitting on the couch. You're probably in your parents' house. Yeah. And you're just sitting there. There's probably a moment where you're sitting on the couch. You know that couch. You remember the couch.
Of course.
You're like, fuck, there's the smells. You can smell the smells. It's like, this is fucking
Mum's
their house.
cooking. It was great.
What are you sitting there thinking? Like, is there a moment in that first bit when you're back home, you're going, this is what I've learned from this trip. Like, this is a journey that's come to an end. It's really come to an end because I'm here
not
now.
so much there. I think more so when I was on the plane that the realisation set in that I wasn't going back. It was just time for a different chapter. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something else. That was my stepping stone onto something else.
Right. And so now you own a restaurant.
Yeah, so my family and I run a restaurant in Burleigh.
Mhm.
We've got a travel company together
Mhm.
as well. So when I came home, I jumped on board with my family and with the travel club. I travel for a lot. I traveled for a while actually, around Europe and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Took my old man hiking in Tassie and places like that. Just enjoyed life for a little bit,
Mhm.
for about 18 months, and then got stuck into some stuff and. Yeah, and then I moved up here last year.
Right. When did you leave high school?
Oh, fucking Jesus.
What grade was it?
Year 10.
Year 10. Okay. So, and mental health wise, like, how are you?
Terrible.
Not good?
Nah, I'm fine.
You're fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
See you
Interesting.
small?
Yeah, I know. You're fucking, that's what I mean. You're not right. You're too good. Who could go through that and be like,
Nah,
yeah,
we
no
love
such
that
thing as
shit.
fucking PTSD.
Nah.
That shit's bullshit.
It is.
Photos of kids being blown up. It's all good, mate.
Yeah,
We'll be right.
desensitized, we'll be right.
Yeah, mate. They've created a fucking monster out of you.
That's right.
You're the Terminator.
Nah, I'm ready to go.
Yep.
Imagine
So-
if there was a war here, I'll be fine.
Yeah, you'd fucking win it yourself, you fucking weirdo. All right, so I guess, because that's the other thing. There's a lot of, young people these days, especially young blokes, it's a topic that always comes up on this show, but a lot of young blokes that are surpassing that natural instincts to survive. You
Yep.
can't hold your fucking head underwater because your body will instantly get out of it.
Get out of it, yep.
But people are overcoming that. I mean, you've pushed yourself to physical sort of exhaustion, mental exhaustion. You've come out of it. You're still fucking going. You're still chipping away. Do you think, in your opinion, I would agree with what I'm about to say, that going through as much shit as possible and just putting yourself through the fucking ringer as long as you can, knowing that everything's going to be all fucking good gravy, is the best way to sort of combat that?
I definitely think you need to get outside of your comfort zone for you to grow as a person to to be where you want to be. You know, comfort is the enemy of success, isn't it? You can't be comfortable. You just get out there and do something different. And I shit myself when I first said that I was going to go over there. And then when I was getting on the plane, I was thinking, holy fuck, I'm actually doing this, you know. But once you get there, I didn't have any issue with it because I didn't have time to think about it. So once you immerse yourself in it all, all that stuff goes away. So yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, just fucking put yourself through the ringer.
So maybe because I think for a lot of people they struggle finding purpose, and you know,
just do shit that scares you.
Right. Okay. So if you haven't found purpose, I was real lucky because I sort of found my purpose pretty young, and then that purpose led me to another purpose, and da. But you know, there's people out there that are my age that might be fucking 30, 40, 50 that still haven't found that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Do you think in that time where you just said earlier on that, you know, you felt sort of like nothing was going on, that it was a great time to sort of train yourself for 12 months to go, fuck, I'm going to put myself through hell, and in that time I'll definitely find that thing. Have you found your purpose now, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, my purpose now is just helping people, getting them out of their comfort zone, you know, as we just spoke about. To them realise what they're capable of. You know, we got this fucking stupid broke-ass system of education that go to school, get good grades, get a good job, fucking retire, you know. How boring.
It's not reality,
That's not fucking life. And people call it, they do that same year after year and call that a life. You know, they've got no experiences. You know, I've lived 1,000 lifetimes. I talk to older people and they're like, yeah, I just worked for 40 years. So, fuck, you're boring as. You know? Maybe that was their time back then where you worked and you got that gold watch and that was your sense of achievement now. But not anymore, man. The world's changed. There's so many ways that you can make money and find your purpose. You know, I've got the internet. You can be anywhere in the world. Just do whatever fucking makes you happy, really. If people... So when I went to the Legion, I only told my mum, my dad, and my 3 older brothers. Why? Is because I knew people would be like, no, what the fuck are you going there for? It's dangerous, it's crazy, all that kind of shit. I didn't tell anyone. And then when I went over there, my family, people would be like, oh, where's Elliott? And they were like, oh, he went to join the French Foreign Legion. And even then, they were like, oh, why is he doing that? Some kind of ISIS, all this kind of shit, you know? So just fucking stop listening to these...
Right, block it out.
...normal people... We'll just call them normies. These boring fucking normal people that have got no sense of achievement or got no goals, and just go and do what makes you happy.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. So then, well, you know, you said you've lived 1,000,000 lifetimes, which I don't doubt at all. 1,000. Well, it's going to be 1,000,000 by the time you're fucking dead.
True.
What's something else that you sort of... Because surely you seem to be someone that has a thought that turns into some erratic, quick decision. Yeah. What's lingering at the moment that you're sitting there going, right, you know, you're working behind the bar at the restaurant that you got, and, you know... Mixing
the cocktails is great. I love it.
Yeah, I know. I bet you love it. But at some point you go, this is a bit fucking normal.
Yeah, of course it is. It is very normal. I've got a couple of things up the works. You know, I'd love to try it for the SAS and give that a whirl. I'd also love to go live with monks for a while. You know, that'd be pretty cool. Learn some kung fu and live how they live for a while. Looked into it not that long ago. A mate of mine wants to do the same thing. He's stuck in a bit of a rut, and he wants to just get out of the G hole, we call it, Geelong. So I said I'd go with him for a few months.
Right. Okay. See, I love that. I love the idea. Like, I've been someone that does it, and I mean, everyone that works here anyway are people that just say they're going to go do something and then go and do it. And it really is that simple.
Yeah, it actually is.
You book a plane ticket.
Is, pretty much.
If you want to go live with some monks, find out where the fuck they are.
Correct.
Walk in the door. Internet.
Yeah. Look it up. Yeah. And book a fucking ticket.
Yeah.
Travel's so accessible now.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere in the world for under $1,500, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, and what's that? That's a paycheck. People are like, oh, I can't do that. It's expensive. It's like, how old are you? Can't you 30 and you don't even have $1,500 to your name? Like, fuck, obviously what you're doing is not working.
Yeah, fucking book the ticket, cunt, now. Get it done.
That's it.
Join the French Foreign Legion. Fuck your rent. Fuck your fucking credit history, cunt. It's not going to exist anymore.
Cares? Well, that's another thing, you know. Everyone's trying to impress somebody else with their materialistic bullshit car and their fucking house.
Yeah.
You know, it means nothing.
Yep.
Oh, I bought a house. Cool, bro. You just fucking bought yourself a ball and chain for the next 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. All right, fuck Elliot, you're an interesting one. Thanks for coming on,
No
having
worries.
a chat. I'm sure there's a lot of people that'll take a lot away from that little conversation there.
Hope so.
All right, good luck, you fucking weapon. We'll see you next week.